Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching. A big thank you to over 400 people that have subscribed to the channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. It'd be much appreciated. Have a gentleman here I've known for over 20 years. A good friend of mine, lives out on the West Coast in California, Ventura, California. Jim Overbaugh, who is a legend here in the South Central Pennsylvania area. And he's going to give us a few ideas and memories of the city county tennis tournament, which started back in 1920. And he's seen a lot of these, over the years. So Jim, welcome and great to see you.
Good to see you, Tim. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what kind of memories do you have as far as the that stand out in your mind as far as this long time tennis event?
Well, I started playing in the early 70s when I was in high school. So that would have been my first recollection, driving from Hanover to York to Farquhar Park, to play the big event. It was a big deal. I was kind of the outsider. No one knew who I was. And all of a sudden I started beating a lot of people, and they're like, who's this little kid from Hanover? Started to beat some of the seeds. So that was my first recollection. And, it was a big deal. Everybody played it. It was 128 draw. Mm-hmm. Anybody in York County, basically made sure they didn't miss it. So, and I had some decent success that kept me coming back.
Yeah. Well, and Craig Diehl was talking about that, and Phil had mentioned it too on his interview about 128 person draw. I mean, just like the majors, it's crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And, did you overlap at all with, I'm sure you knew him as far as, I don't know if you ever played against him or if your guys' eras overlapped at all, Dr. Gil Rothrock, who was kind of a legend as far as his play was concerned.
Gil and I go way back from when I was a kid. One of my best friends were the Landises, my parents' best friend, Dr. Landis, who was one of the best players around here too. A lot of people don't know Gil, but in that era, he was the fourth best player. And so he had a clay court. So on Sundays or the weekends, we used to go hang out at Dr. Landis's court, and Gil and Bruce Pearson and Art Counten and all the legends would come down and play. And sometimes I get to play in. And so I knew Gil very well, hit with him as a youngster. Wasn't in his league at all, but it was fun. Then as he got older and I was a pro at the Winfield Club, we used to play, even got Gil to play in a singles league.
Wow.
So that was fun. That was a lot later when I was younger and he was way past his prime. But yeah, in his prime, he's still the best player ever in York County. I don't think there's a question of that.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And Phil was making that comment too, that, the word was, certainly before that open era, when he was at his prime or whatever, that really at that point really wasn't much money as far as tennis was concerned. But Phil was saying that, it was thought that Dr. Rothrock possibly could have hit the tour, the satellite tour or something along those lines. Would you agree with that?
Oh, he could have hit the main tour. He was number one in the United States in the boys 18s, and he has wins over Rayberg, Bill Talbert. At that, when they were playing, they were his, equal. They were close to equal in age. So he had wins over all these Grand Slam champions. He would have been top 10 in the world.
Wow. That is impressive. That's for sure. Well, let me ask you this, Jim. Okay, since we're talking about Dr. Rothrock, okay, obviously he's a medical doctor and everything like that. How did he find the time to, play this much tennis?
As a youngster, I guess he played all the time up till he was 18. Then it became a question of, do you go to medical school or you go on the tour? So he went to medical school and somehow kept playing through school. And after school, I found enough time, to keep his game up. Sure.
Well, how about Craig Diehl said some wonderful things about you, and I didn't disagree at all with him. What do you think as far as Craig's game was concerned? Because he said you guys, got to know each other pretty well, and he was talking about what an outstanding basketball player you were when you went up to Bloomsburg. And I did know that story and everything, but your thoughts as far as Craig is concerned.
Oh, Craig's a great player. He's been a great friend. I actually gave him a lesson or two when I was at the Hanover Tennis Club, and he was, finishing up his high school. Him and Kenny Grove, two Spring Grove legends, you knew right away he just had that dogged determination. He didn't want to ever lose to anybody. He didn't want to lose points to anybody, and I got the best of him early on, but then he got the best of me. Time went by. He was just very strong physically too. He could just kind of bully you around the court, and he made you work so hard to win a match, hours and hours of grinding that you would go no mas at some point almost. He would never say no mas. There was nothing in it. No.
Well, it's funny knowing you guys as far as tennis is concerned. I've said this because, my background basically wrestling. I'm a very ugly player, as you already acknowledged, rightfully so. But it's interesting, the mindset between singles playing and a wrestling match. Not necessarily quite as, absolutely physical, but mentally and psychologically, and certain levels physically without the hands-on. It is a real dogfight as far as the guys that are, really, really at the top of their game.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide out there.
Right.
It's you, and especially when you're playing tournaments and you get deep into tournament, there's more people watching, and you have to relish that. You have to want, and it's kind of interesting. And today we're seeing all these people with mental, issues coming to the forefront, and the old schoolers sometimes would say, blah, 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 we were tougher than that. But I think today there's just too much more pressure, the social media and everything connected with it. So you have to feel for them. I mean, some people are not treating them so well, but they have my full support for what they go through. It's the pressure's got to be enormous.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge. Like I say, there's just so many more distractions in a number of different ways. How about Jimmy Kohr? He's won like 19 or 20 of these city county tournaments. What can you add as far as Jimmy Kohr is concerned?
Well, I started teaching Jimmy when he was 14.
Okay.
Because he grew up in the farm, and we used to kid him. He was milking the cows first thing in the morning and throwing bales of hay and around. He was just a man. He had the body of a man as a 14-year-old, and he was so strong and could hit the ball amazing. Didn't know where it was, what to do with everything at that point in time. And I worked through till he was done high school.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he's worked for me teaching and, at the Winfield Club and camps and whatnot. So, Jimmy just has a different, he's so powerful physically and very talented. And he certainly figured out how to use what he had and did very well with it.
Sure. And the gentleman that succeeded you over there at Wisehaven, Phil Myers, comments or, ideas as far as he's concerned, because he's won a few of the city county, not as many as some of the other guys have, but he's won, I guess, 4 or 5, maybe 6 at this point.
No, I think it's great. I mean, he's the reason it's still going. I mean, we all thought of, the city county as Farquhar Park, and it was for the longest time. Then I know it was at Dallas Town once. It was at the Winfield Club for a year or two on the Hartrue. And now, he got it back and then turned it into an event at Wisehaven. I think it's been good for the club. It's been good for him. Get his name out there. He's beats everybody that they put in front of him right now. So that's all you can do. I mean, not everybody plays the tournament these days. Holden Coons obviously would be one we both know about. If Holden played, I think everybody else would be playing for second.
Yeah.
But he's done great with it, both as a promoter and as a player. So all kudos to him.
Yeah. How about Jenni Goodling, Laura Glitz? They were, two of the the 2 top women that I know of down here in this area. What commentary do you have as far as Jenni or Laura are concerned?
Well, Jenni, I used to get calls when I was at the pro at the Winfield. Congress Goodling here. Can you hit with Jenni this afternoon? Which he always made all her tennis arrangements. He's sitting at his desk in Washington, tennis. So we would play. I didn't know Jenni that well at that point in time. And then she was out playing on the circuit in college. And Laura, I worked with when she moved here in some clinics and things and got to know her well. And Laura was top 25 in the world talent. She's beaten people. And I think could have possibly been a Grand Slam champion. She got some pretty bad shoulder issues in college at Arizona State. And that derailed her, but she still got to like fourth rounds of majors.
That's incredible.
Yeah. They were both great players. Laura's still the best player out of this area.
Is that right? Yeah. And what, as far as the going forward, as far as the city county, Jim, what would you like to see as far as, the future of this grand old tournament, 101 years old?
I just like to see it keep going. I think Phil's doing a tremendous job with the dawn of the USTA teams, 20, 30, I don't even know how many, 40 years ago. That's kind of where people have gone. It's not like the old days where every weekend you tried to find a tournament, got in your car and played prize money tournaments or whatever. So they're not conditioned to tournament play. They're conditioned to team play.
Right.
And team play probably saved tennis in a lot of ways because it got people interested and got them to be lifers. Phil and I always talk, if we can get our students to love it enough to keep playing as an adult, that's one of our big goals. So I don't think we'll ever see gigantic tournament, playing in that area. Now out here is different. The draws of tournaments out here, I've gone to a few local draws that are 128 with 128 qualifier.
Wow.
And level play is off the charts.
Yeah,
but that's California. I mean, it's different. This is still probably the mecca of tennis in the
well, I know some guy named Pete Sampras came out of California. He wasn't too bad. I think Michael Chang, was he California too?
Yeah. John McEnroe went to school out here. There's a great place in Ojai called the Libby Bowl that has great tennis courts, and they have the Pac-12 championship there. And they have a list of all their champions. It's Tracy Austin and John Stockton, and goes the whole way. It's pretty neat to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jim, this has been fantastic. Any last second thoughts here before we close it up? And please hang for a minute after I do stop the recording.
Okay. Yeah, just wish everybody good luck in the tournament. Thank you, Tim, for what you do in promoting our sport and our tournaments. And I just say hi to everybody for me. I won't be back east for this tournament, but maybe I'll get back for one of the future ones. So.
Sounds good. Well, great seeing you, Jim. Great catching up, and just hang for just a minute here. Okay.
Okay.